Who received the congregation's bounty given to the Lord from the war with Midian? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Numbers on Walking Through the Bible. If you have a Bible with you, turn to Numbers 31. We're going to be reading from verses 42 to 54. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Numbers 31, beginning of verse 42. And from the children of Israel's half, which Moses separated from the men who fought, now the half belonging to the congregation was 337,500 sheep, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 persons. And from the children of Israel's half, Moses took one of every 50, drawn from man and beast, and gave them to the Levites, who kept charge of the tabernacle of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then the officers who were over thousands of the army, the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, came near to Moses, and they said to Moses, "Your servants have taken account of the men of war who are under our command, and not a man of us is missing. Therefore we have brought an offering for the Lord, what every man found of ornaments of gold, armlets and bracelets, and signet rings and earrings and necklaces, to make atonement for ourselves before the Lord." So Moses and Eleazar the priest received the gold from them, all the fashioned ornaments, and all the gold of the offering that they offered to the Lord from the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds was 16,750 shekels. The men of war had taken spoil every man for himself. And Moses and Eleazar the priest received the gold from the captains of thousands and hundreds, and brought it into the tabernacle of meeting, as a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord. In this chapter, we've seen Israel fight Midian, taking God's vengeance on the Midianites for what they did to get Israel to sin in chapter 25. Even though the Midianites were not completely wiped out because their land was so vast, Israel did defeat those involved as God had demanded. The spoils that they brought back were quite numerous. The way it would be divided is that half went to the men of war who actually went to fight the battle, the 1,000 from each tribe, while the other half was divided among the nation as a whole. What we found is that from the half of the men of war, one of every 500 persons, cattle, donkeys, and sheep were given to the Lord, who would in turn give them to the priests directly to be used in their households. In total, then, 675 sheep, 72 cattle, 61 donkeys, and 32 persons were given to the Lord for this purpose. Now we come to the offering from the bounty of the congregation. The Lord demanded that one in every 50 persons, cattle, donkey, and sheep be given to him. The Lord would in turn give those to the Levites, those who were not priests, for use in their households. That meant 6,750 sheep, 720 cattle, 610 donkeys, and 320 persons were given to the Lord for this purpose. Why the difference in how much was given to the Lord? Well, the text doesn't specifically say, but I can think of two reasons. The first reason is that the men of war actually went out to fight the battle, and a worker is worthy of their wages, so the Lord took less from them. However, the children of Israel as a whole didn't go out to battle, so perhaps God was trying to teach the congregation a lesson in thanksgiving for what God had done for them, even though they did not see it. The second reason is based on who this offering was given to, which was the Levites. At that time, the number of priests was still quite small, with Eleazar's family and Ithamar's family the only priests. Therefore, they didn't need as much bounty in order for it to be a fair allotment. However, the Levites were much more numerous, totaling 23,000 over the age of 1 month old, according to Numbers 26:62. They would therefore need much more bounty in order for it to be a fair allotment, seeing as how they weren't to inherit land, and thus they needed to be taken care of by God. Now, we don't know how many households there were or how the bounty was divided, but I'm sure there was enough bounty for each household to get something. The rest of the bounty would then be divided among the 12 tribes and then among the households in those tribes. Coming now to verse 48, we find that the commanders have been doing some accounting of the men who returned from battle. Remember, 12,000 men went out to battle. 1,000 from each tribe. Upon inspection, they found that all 12,000 had returned. None had been lost. I'm sure this shocked them, as this never is the case when a nation goes to war. There are always casualties, even when a war is won convincingly. However, remember, this battle was not just an ordinary battle. It was a battle of judgment by God against the people of Midian. He therefore protected Israel in this instance and caused nobody to fall by the sword. God didn't always promise Israel this. Even in battles, he told them to go and fight. But if it is within God's will, he can certainly bring it about. As a sign of gratitude, the commanders offered from the gold that was also taken, 16,750 shekels, which in 2021 money is just over 85,000 American, or just over 105,000 Canadian. This is quite a gift given above and beyond what the Lord had commanded, which showed their thankfulness for what the Lord had done. This again shows us that even under Old Testament times, there were free will offerings that were made by the children of Israel. This money went into the treasury of the tabernacle, able to be used by the priests for their needs. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Numbers 32, verses 1 to 9, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.